Hey, this is Brett, and I want to walk through a Zoho Social import process. I'm going to be using an article that I wrote a couple weeks ago as the coronavirus was just kind of getting started in the US where I'm at. I wrote an article. I kind of had to get some stuff off my chest, things that I was doing. I'd kind of been working on getting prepared for the virus several weeks beforehand. But at the time I did it, this was March 12th. Today's March 24th. At the time I wrote it, I was kind of a little shy or embarrassed about sharing some extra tips, some of the things that I was doing. Uh, since that time, I've added a number of other tips and steps, things that we can do to help keep yourself safe, flatten the curve, all those good things. There are the basics, but I wanted to go beyond that, looking at the basics like social distancing and hand washing as part of the 80-20 rule. I personally needed to do more. And so I came up with a list of a number of different things that could help. This would be more on the 20% side of helping as opposed to the 80-20 side of things helping. But, I just wanted to throw everything at it. And now I want to share these tips a little bit more through social media, not something I did a whole lot at the time. And so I'm going to come through here and pull in every single tip. And I'm going to my goal is to make each one of these individual tips a Twitter message, a tweet. And so I'm going to copy all of them and I'm going to put them into a spreadsheet and then create a scheduled series of messages that will go out on Twitter. And so in this case, normally I work in Google Sheets. I have a template in Zoho Docs, the Zoho Sheets version of Docs, and I've done this once before with 4 messages, so I'm kind of going to another level with my ability to use Zoho Social, the bulk scheduling process, and I need to do some work in the spreadsheet though before I ever get it into this file. And this file has a very specific date-time format. That's kind of a key step. And then there will be the message. It's possible to add an image if you like, and a link back to an article, which I would like to include. I'd like to basically share a tip and then show people the other tips if they're interested in following that. And I'm doing this through my work account, which is at WP ThemeSpeed, because that's where I've got Zoho Social setup. Normally this particular type of message wouldn't be a perfect fit for my business. It's not even close at all. But I don't care about that. It's the tool that I've got, and I want to help share it out there. However, I do have a personal account on Twitter, and so I'm going to be including an @ of myself in this message. I'm doing that such that on my personal account, when these messages hit, then I can retweet it to my personal following, which is much larger than my business following, and I'm hoping to have a little bit more impact in that way. So that's kind of the basis of it, and so here we go. So I've copied that full list of items, and I'm going to open up a new tab first because I need to do something useful with these messages, and I happen to know. Oops, so that just pasted it all in one cell right off the bat, not what I want. So I may need to format this or unformat it. So let's see. I don't have a paste special here, and I was kind of thought this might happen. So I'm going to go into Google Sheets, where I'm just a little more familiar with the spreadsheet process, and see if I can work some magic a little easier here. There we go. So that's what I've got, and I want to. There's a little bit of a format to this list. This came out of an ordered list, and I happen to know that most of these have a dash in here, although some paragraphs, some of these chunks are getting their own line of items. So I kind of want to get the start of the tip. I don't necessarily want to get the full paragraph because that won't fit into a Twitter message. So I need to do a little bit of formatting. I'm going to do that and kind of come back with the video after I've done the formatting so you don't have to see the boring stuff. Okay, so I've done some spreadsheet magic, and I want to walk through a few of the thought process that went into this. So first, I've taken the messages from the article over here. As you can see, I've got a little bit of items in bold and then usually a dash, but not always. I sometimes messed up. And then a description of what that shorter message stands for. So I definitely want the short messages in there. And I need to add some things at the end. I want a hashtag for COVID-19. And as I mentioned before, I want my personal Twitter ID in there also, such that I can do other things with it from my Twitter address on my personal side. And I want to add some context. I don't have a lot of room for text, but I want to add some context. These aren't solutions that are the top 5 solutions. The World Health Organization's got that covered. This is something that's doing more, and I may experiment with which of these messages, which of these words set the right tone. So this started off as a brainstorm. What else can I do? That's what I want to try and convey in a tweet. Not always an easy thing to do. So what I have here, Twitter's got a limit of 280 characters, and I want to come in under that at 260. So I've measured how many characters are in each one of these short messages. I've also measured how many characters are at the end of the message, this text here, and then I have the longer text that follows it. And so what I'm doing is, this longer text could be really long, might be several lines even. So I can't get all of that in there, and I want to chop this off before I hit 260 and add an ellipsis, 3 dots. Plus I need a link for an image and a shortened link back to the actual article. So the end result is I put together a little bit of a concatenation formula, and it pulls in the beginning, share the facts in this case, a space and a dash, and then it grabs the characters on the left of the remaining message and limits those to whatever this value is here, and that value changes depending on a number of factors over here. And there's a bunch of calculations there, and then the ... and the hashtag. I also need to add into this, the link will be added automatically by Zoho, so I don't need to add the bit.ly link to the article in there, nor the image. That's something that Zoho will put in there, and I believe it shortens it even further. The ... might even get duplicated. I don't recall. So I might just strip that out as well. Now, one last thing, and let me make sure I point out that you don't necessarily have to agree with my logic or anything like that. This is the thought process that went into the calculation. You might have other things that are important to you, but there are a handful of things like this number here reduces it, but that includes the ... and it includes the space dash space, and then this 23, that is the number of characters in my bit.ly link, which also reduces the available space, trying to make sure things are covered. So we'll see. This is an experiment. I may or may not get this right. Oops, and I'm hitting keys as I do this. So let me fix this because I didn't mean to tap that with the button. So there's the logic, and I'm going to do a little bit more and then come back into the next steps so pausing the video one more time. Okay, so I had to bounce into Google Spreadsheets to work on this. I was having trouble getting the time date formatting to work right in Zoho Sheets. And so I've come up with a bit of a formula. This is still a working tab. So I've got the date and I've got the time, which auto increments using the time function. And then I pull it all together with a concatenation over here. And I'm going to duplicate this tab to create my export file. And we'll give it a quick name. Put it over there, and once over here, I need to copy and paste this to values. To get all those formats in, and I'm going to delete these 2 columns. I don't need this for my export file. And so this takes us down to the time, the message, the link that we're adding, the image that will be added to the Twitter card. And so I'm ready to download. Been through a few iterations of this offline trying to get this right. So hopefully this will work this time. And we'll come in and to do this, I'm going to go to bulk schedule. I only want to send this to Twitter. I'm going to browse for the file. It takes my computer a second or two to get the latest files in there. Make sure you're getting your latest. And attempt to schedule. Crossing fingers. We schedule this process, and we'll note. So they're taking the file and getting it all prepared, and it should be good, or at least my file formatting should be good. We'll see there is a couple different places where you can see scheduled posts. They're probably going to send me a thing. And got some other things looks like that are in there also. Not sure if the messages I'm seeing are exactly what I wanted, which is a little tricky, but they're still working on it. So, for example, we'll see. It looks like the image isn't showing up just yet, which is fine. And these messages look a little short. And I got like 13 minutes to make sure this is right because I was trying to be fast. Yeah. So this is tentatively what the message will look like. I think it's the image, which is their biggest challenge. I'm pulling that in, otherwise it'll be ready. And that's mostly what I wanted. So I want essentially the tip, the start of what it's about. I wanted it to at me, such that on my personal account I will get the notification and I can like or retweet or something to move that around more on my social account. Again, I'm doing this because I don't have this tool on my personal profile, but I do with my work account, and I needed to learn this bulk scheduling tool better, and I wanted to do something too. I just needed to do something. So there you have it. In case you hadn't seen the calendar function, this also shows things on the calendar view as well. And so you can see all the messages that'll be going out filled up this week quite a bit. Now, in this case, it was important to me that I get it out sooner rather than later. So there you have it. That's what the bulk scheduling looks like. I'm going to stop this now and thank you for watching.